Another Apple-related story, since you raised something on Apple security, is the new announcement of lockdown mode. So they're previewing this mode mostly for people who've been targeted by mercenary spyware. And this is things like, all the sorts of like NSO Group related Pegasus type malware that has been out there hitting journalists and hitting human rights defenders and other people who have powerful enemies with lots of money. Because Apple's been involved in so many of these and is currently in litigation with NSO Group and is also trying really hard to repair its brand after being a primary target of these sorts of groups, this is a step towards making it so much harder for these developers who are trying to get into Apple devices to be able to do the kinds of tricks that they've done in the past. So what lockdown mode does is it plays on lessons learned from some of these prior attacks and makes it so that messages no longer accept any attachment types other than images. And that means a lot of these exotic attacks where they're sending like a specially crafted file or something like an animation that has like a secret like CPU embedded in the code or whatever, all this like crafty weird stuff that they've done, it's just not going to work. And some of the access to old exotic libraries with bugs in them that can be exploited, this is also locked down as well. So when web browsing, certain complex web technologies like just-in-time JavaScript compilation are disabled unless the user specifically selects websites to opt out of this. And that means if you were to send a user a link and they clicked on it, so-called like a one-click exploit, then opening that link would no longer make it so that they were as exposed to some of these really easy to exploit technologies that are frankly disproportionately powerful and allow for attackers to have a lot of room to kind of like deploy whatever they're going to deploy. This is really going to make it a lot harder to use web-based exploits. So that's why this improvement is so important. Apple services, so incoming invitations and service requests, including FaceTime calls, are blocked if the user has not previously sent the initiator a call or request. So very frequently, they might find a bug in the FaceTime protocol or something like that, and then make it so that an unknown number randomly sends you a request in the middle of the night or something and triggers this bug. That would be a zero interaction where you don't even need to accept it in order for this to become an issue. So in order to lock down those protocols and insulate them against random numbers being able to deploy a bug in like FaceTime, iMessage, or something like that, where they can initiate something just by sending you a request, this will lock it down to the point that those sorts of attacks, you will have to be tricked into messaging them first, which is a whole extra step that most people haven't had to go through in order to be infected. Wired connectors from a computer or accessory are blocked when the iPhone is locked. So if you were to leave your phone in a room, if you were to leave your phone unattended and someone were to plug it in very quickly, this would disable all the different things they could potentially do by directly connecting your phone to a computer. That means some of these fancy hacking techniques that require momentary physical access would be blocked by default and make it so you would need to be there and unlock the phone in order to enable the kinds of vulnerabilities that would allow them to maybe like add something to the firmware or jailbreak your device and do something to it. And then lastly, configurable profiles can't be installed. The device can't be enrolled into mobile device management while lockdown mode is on. So some of these attacks have been focusing on installing a profile that secretly and silently adds maybe like another forwarding number or a forwarding email for all messages that are coming into you. This will make it so that that is not possible unless your organization like wants that to happen and that's your intent, and at which point you would need to disable lockdown mode in order to do it. So all these are, again, direct reactions to like Pegasus malware and other things that have been impacting the ability of these phones to stay secure. And a lot of these things will be potentially literally a lifesaver for the people who are using these on iOS devices. So it really makes iOS devices very attractive again to people who have concerns about security, because it really is smart for Apple to be learning from the lessons of them really getting beat up by these mercenary groups in terms of their reputation and coming back with a system that is so much more difficult. Now here's the best part. If you want to mess up lockdown mode, if you're motivated and you want to find a way to break it out, $2 million is
wow.
the highest maximum bounty payout in the industry.